So welcome back to Sarah and Lee. We are back in Sofia. No trip again this weekend, so it's a lovely warm sunny August day. In fact, in 4 weeks today we should be just about now actually landing in France for the start of our European road trip. We've got one more trip to come before that and a couple more jobs to do on Sofia. So today we're just going to get a few things ready. So on the list, I don't know if we showed you, but on our last trip we found a crack in the shower tray. No one wants that, so that's one job I've got to fix today. What other jobs have I got? There's a water pipe that needs replacing, so that's another job I've got to do today, because I think on our last trip to Wales I was spraying water inside the van when we were taking on fresh water. Never a good thing. A little bit of top-up painting inside just to smarten her up a little bit. There's a couple of flaky places, so we'll probably tackle that. And like I said in the last video, I need to check the gearbox oil levels, I think it is, and the dipstick for that is underneath. So we are currently on the ramps. Sarah put us on there expertly, and yeah, I think there's a couple of other jobs I need to tinker with as well.
We need to fix the rattle on the exhaust. Yeah,
we've developed a rattle on the exhaust, which I think is just a heat shield, so I think a couple of Jubilee clips hopefully will sort that out, because otherwise that might be a trip to the garage, but we'll take a look at that as well. So I think that's enough on the list for today. Let's get cracking.
So job number one on the list is to fix this crack here. As you can see, not good.
So there we go. I have taken off the plug and just cleaning up around the area, and at the end of the crack I've just drilled a little hole that should hopefully stop the crack developing any further. And now I've just got to clean it up a little bit more, sand it off a little bit, and then I can start using the plastic weld. So if you're eating something now, look away, but this is what we're currently looking at. So this is the crack here. So I've just drilled that little hole there, another crack there. It's been fixed before, but just with sealant. So I just need to clean that up a little bit so I get a nice good seal on that plug when I put that back in. But not an attractive job. So next job is to replace the water pipe. So this little pipe, it's only about that long, if that. And it just takes us from the water inlet where we fill up with the hose pipe into the fresh water tank, which is just here. So that is 34 years old, and we knew 4 years ago it was probably on its way out. And when we were in, was it Wales? Yeah. I was filling up with fresh water and Sarah started screaming from inside the van, so I think the hose finally went. Hopefully it's the hose, otherwise it's something else, but we're going to replace that piece of hose today, hopefully. So we've bought some off Amazon. I think is it a metre stretch? It's about
yeah, I think it was a tenner.
So it's food grade flexible hosing. So let's see. I remember when I took this pipe off when we first got the van that it was an absolute pain in the backside to get it back on. So everyone keep your fingers crossed.
So which one is it?
So I'll show you when I take this off. So this is the water inlet, and this is the bit of flexible hose that needs replacing. So it's 20-30 centimetres, I guess.
What hose did you buy?
So we've bought this. So let's hope our measurements were right. It certainly looks the same size. So let's see.
That doesn't look food grade either, does it? Or do you think? Or you think it would be? Or
well, probably wasn't a thing 30 odd years ago. But
does it pass the smell test?
No, not really. So let's get a nice clean pipe on. That's the first end on. One fresh water pipe replaced. We'll test that in a minute and see if we're still leaking. Get the hose pipe out. Next job, exhaust pipe. There's the exhaust, and there is the culprit. So there is a rubber missing there, and that's allowing this to whack against the metal and making that noise. So I'm just going to put a quick fix on there. And that brush there is looking, that rubber there is looking a little bit ropey, so I think we'll get 2 of those. So update on the exhaust, we just need a couple of new exhaust rubbers. Our ones are pretty perished and there's a couple missing, so we've put an order in for those, so we'll go down and collect them at some point, but that's a 2-second fix, which is good. There is still a bit of a rattle on the exhaust, but I think that's more to do with age, so we'll keep an eye on that. Next job is to check the gearbox oil. So a lot of people with these vans have struggled with this, but I've come straight round and I found the dipstick, but the dipstick is in quite an awkward place. So some people say to take the spare tyre and the air filter out. I'm going to see if I can just reach it from underneath while she's up on the ramps. If not, I'll be doing that, but let's see.
Yeah, because I don't think you'll see. Let me see if that... I don't think... You might be able to see that. Is that it? Is that the dipstick? It's there, isn't it?
I should just see the ring on the top of the dipstick. I don't know if the torch is on it, but it's just down there. Right, okay. So if you've got one of these old vans and you want to check the gearbox oil, I found it quite easy to get underneath. So the van is on the ramps, so it's nice and safe. It's not on a jack or anything, and I've slid under the van, so you can see there's the oil, and then to the left of that you can see this, and this is the dipstick here. So that just pulls out and you can just check your oil levels as normal. So I've got 2 marks on there, and it's just slightly above, which I think is the recommended for these. Something to do with them now being 5 gears as opposed to the old 4. And then it just clips back in, and that is the gearbox oil checked. As I say, I actually found that a 2-minute job while the van was on the ramp, so I'm impressed with that, and I don't have to fill it up because our oil levels are good, so that's an added bonus. So the day was going so well, but we found another problem, but don't we always on Sofia, and we've obviously got some water trapped which has corroded the bodywork, so we're going to scrape that back and fill it back in.
Lee's just finding holes everywhere. No? Lee? Lee?
Well, you know me, I'm going to do it properly, aren't I? Okay, so the outside of the van, the problems there have led us inside, and we always knew the inside of the wardrobe was a little bit soft, but that seems to have developed, so it looks like we're going to have to do a little bit of a repair in here. So let's go.
So what does it look like at the moment?
So this is the original wallpaper, so you can see that's on there. This is always hung off a little bit, but we've never been brave enough to pull it back. But you can see.
Oh. Okay. We're going for it, are we?
Well,
looks like there's wet there as well.
Which is about where those holes are on the outside.
Love it. What does the other side look like? You might as well pull all that. Oh! Leak in the ceiling, do we think?
So actually the wood's there good. So we'll only go as far as we need.
What's with the leak at the top?
So that's dry, so that's an old leak. So I can dig that out and do something there.
So that's, it's this bit down, where is it?
At the bottom it feels wet, and that's where those bubbles were on the outside. So we've got a bit of drying out to do there. So we'll strip that back, let it dry out, we'll harden it up, and then we'll look at sealing it back in.
Right, so what's the plan?
So we'll strip this back. When that's dried out a bit, we'll treat the wood that's left, and then we'll look at how we put it back. So we might put some new plywood up there, depending on how bad it is. It's inside, so it doesn't really matter how it looks. So it might just be that we paint over the repair when it's done. We'll have to fill in some of the bits and pieces, but It's not a big job.
And fix. What? How are you going to fix the outside?
So the outside will be metal filler. Metal filler, and then we've got no paint left. So I'll do some artwork on the outside or buy a sticker.
Yeah, because we do want to paint the van, don't we, next year?
Yeah, so it's only a temporary fix for that. So yeah.
We need her looking nice for Europe. At the moment, she's not looking so pretty.
Damn.
At least we found it now.
Yeah, at least we found it now. We know that we've got sections of damp, and you saw us a few weeks back do the kitchen. It's a 30-odd-year-old van. You know, we just make it last as long as we can. So what we did in the kitchen, we'll just replicate in here.
So this is the area that I just need to paint. As you can see, we've got some little squares that need to be painted. So going to do that. We used to have something there that would stick to the back of our cushions that make up the dinette. We tore that off a long time ago, and we've always had these little patches. You can't see it when obviously the dinette's made up, but when we're in bed you can see that. So just going to give that a whole new paint. But before I do that, Lee is going to fill the water pipe just to make sure that we don't have any leaks, and that's all done. Also just found some little specks here. We had a leak from the window. You probably can't see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paint this whole bit as well.
Time to test that new water pipe. You ready?
Yes.
I'm hoping you don't get wet.
I'm hoping I don't get wet. I think you succeeded in a job, mate. First job complete of the van.
Excellent. Put your hand underneath and see if it's running out.
Okay. Here.
Yeah.
So you've got nothing here.
Top one.
So I'm going to do this whole area here. All here. And then this bit here.
Right, so I'm going to fill the outside of the van. I've got those 3 holes, I think it is. So for that I like to use big boy metal filler. So I'll get this from Toolstation. It's less than a tenner, I think, but really good. I've used a lot of it on Sofia. Tubs and tubs, as you can imagine. So 2-part, mix them together, and then fill those holes in, and hopefully that sorts out the outside of the van. Mrs. B is working away. She's found some painting to do.
Now I've started, I feel like I need to redo all of the grey.
Told you that would happen.
I know. Watch this space.
So that's the big boy all mixed up. So these are the 3 holes that I think have caused the damp. So I've dug those out as much as I can. A little bit there as well. And we'll have some metallic silver special effects on the side of the van.
Yes. So this is the first coat of paint, and I have gone around the van and just topped up some areas that were looking a little bit scruffy, so that's all done. Lee has been to Euro Car Parts and picked up the, what are they called?
O-rings.
O-rings. How much do they?
Well, I mean, they'll bend over time, they'll stretch over time anyway, so as long as I can get them on, we'll be fine.
What were they? How much were they?
So for 3 I spent the grand sum of £3.60.
Bargain. Let's see if that works. Okay, so the paint has dried really well. Really pleased with how that's dried. The van is in a little bit of a mess. Really good. So now we're just going to do some top up just on the cupboards. Cupboards just need a bit of a top up. So let's crack on with that.
Okay, so we're getting through the list of jobs now, and this is all set in the bathroom, so I'm just going to paint the bathroom tray, and hopefully that's waterproof. Sarah's going around with a brush painting just about everything. Everything else is looking good. I think we're nearly there.
Yeah. So that's what the crack looks like. Good job. So who's going to paint this? So the bathroom floor is all done, looking really good.
I wouldn't normally paint the plug holes, but they were already painted and I've protected them a little bit under the seal. So it's another bright sunny day here in Swindon, and we're inside Sofia for some more, I don't know what we were even doing now. It was some tidying up, but it's turned into a bit of a renovation project. So as we showed you yesterday, the wardrobe is, or was, full of damp, so I've stripped that back. I've put some new battens in, and I've got some new boarding that will be going up. So all the wood in there is treated, and all the holes on the outside are filled in. So that's given us a problem on the outside, because the outside of Sofia now looks like it's ready for the paint shop, which of course it's not. So we've had to go out and I didn't have any of the original paint left, so we've had to sort of try and buy the best match we could buy. So we're not sure how that's going to go, so we'll be trying that in a minute. So yeah, so the wardrobe, that's almost done. I've got a nice piece of board to make that look a little bit prettier. Sarah's been getting on with the touching up and painting, so she's been all around, touched up some of the cupboards and the walls, so we're nearly done with that. So all the stuff, the mechanic side of stuff, that's done. The new water pipe's on, so that's now working, so that's good. I think we're in a good place.
Yeah, my grey touching up didn't quite work, did it? So I've actually had to repaint a whole of the van.
Yeah, you were hoping to get away with a couple of touch-ups, but I've had to do some larger areas. Oh, and the shower tray is nearly done. So, well, that is done. So I think we put this board in. I think we've got a bit more white paint to touch up, and then I think we can call it a day.
So this is the inside of the cupboard. So Lee's inserted these battens at the top. And then this is all where the damage is. So Lee actually treated that overnight, and that's dried. So we've just gone to being cuted by a board to go in there. So that's good. And this is the shower. So that's come up amazing. Really, really good job there. You'd never even know there was a crack. So that's really good. This is the whiteboard that we've just purchased, so let's see how we get on. Please just apply the, what is it, no more nails?
No more nails. I'll bang a small screw into it. Okay, so that's the wardrobe repair finished, and I've put a new board in, which is white, which should help when we're in the wardrobe looking for our clothes. It's brightened it up quite a bit. So not a perfect job, but another quick job on the fly. It's all glued in. I've put some screws in there just to hold it in place until the glue dries and goes off. So the board wasn't quite long enough. I think it was 2 inches too short, but that's fine. It's only inside, and it's looking okay. So
we'll put a lick of paint at the bottom, won't we?
We'll put a lick of paint at the bottom just so it tidies in. I'll probably take the screws out once the glue's gone off, and then it should look pretty dapper.
There we go. Okay, so this is how the outside of the van's looking. So this has all been filled. All had metal filler in it. And then Lee's done some primer. We've got some spray, haven't we? But it's not right. No? We can't put that on. Okay, you put it on.
You can't put that on, you said as I'm spraying it. Hello again everyone, you join us on another new day. We're back in Sofia and we're finishing off the jobs that we've been doing over the weekend. So as you know, on the outside of the van we found a couple of holes, so they've been filled. And the big problem we had actually was not being able to find a paint that matched. So we went out to B&Q, we've had a look round. The problem is we used the Tecoloid paint that you would have seen in the video a couple of years ago that we got, and it's quite specialist, and we tried to find the best match we could. We thought we'd done that, but when we got home, what was supposed to be a buttermilk turned out to be an almost a luminous yellow. So Mrs. B had a little bit of a meltdown, fair to say, I think, in public, outside. The Europe trip was off, the van was going, so I scurried off to my shed in shame, and I had some Airfix model paints that I had when I was a boy about 30 years ago, and I managed to get some yellow and white out of that, and I mixed up something that I think is quite a good match, so we'll show you that now. And I think that's pretty good. I mean, I think that's as close as we would have got it with the original paint anyway, so that seemed to have gone on all right, so we'll see how that goes. It's only a temporary fix because we are planning to go over the paintwork again and really tidy her up, but that job's been put off till next year now, so that's only got to last 6 months a year, so fingers crossed she doesn't look too bad. So today we're in here, we're just finishing off the white paint on the cupboards, and then we're going to have a good old tidy up because it's the bank holiday coming up and we're away, so we need to make sure everything is ship shape and put away, ready for a weekend away. And that will be our last run in Sofia until the big one. So let's get the paintbrushes out and get started.
So the van's been given a great big clean. All of the cupboards up here were refreshed. All of the grey at the back. Grey over there. All of those white ones over there were done. The grey that's just under here has all been done. All the cupboards have been done, and Sophia is looking her beautiful self again. So that brings this episode to an end. If you've enjoyed this one, don't forget to give it a big fat thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing, and we will see you in the next one.